Good.
That was beautiful. And I thank Raj Kumar and the Institute and all of you and all of the participants and all of the organizers for being here. You heard a little something about the Matsunaga Institute for Peace from Ha'aheo Watson, who was the director for a time. I am so grateful that she brought students from Manoa to come and be part of this. I want to tell those of you who don't know about the Institute a little more about us. We are essentially the Peace Studies Department at UH Manoa. We have an undergraduate bachelor's and certificate in peace studies. We have a graduate certificate in conflict resolution. We, however, overwhelmingly have in our classes students from other fields, nursing and biology and architecture and urban planning and poli-sci and so many other fields, and we are happy about that. Of course, we would love to see more peace studies majors. That being said, what this highlights is that peace is being recognized as an important feature of so many different fields and arenas of study and work. And so one of the things that we endeavor to do is help people to define peace very broadly. And nonviolence is a part of every definition of peace building. So we think of peace as human rights and mediation, and alternative dispute resolution, restorative justice and prison reform and personal peace, ho'oponopono, of course, and much more. And the good news is that means that every single person has a part to play. Wherever you reside, wherever you work, you have a role in peace building. Gandhi famously said, and I'm so happy to have Raj Kumar's book on Gandhi's wisdom, all these wonderful quotes that I can share with my students. But Gandhi famously said that the world will be at peace when the individuals who compose it decide to do so. A simple but effective quote that really highlights the fact that peace building now cannot be something that is seen as coming from governments in a top-down fashion, but really is about democratic grassroots daily efforts, and that it is in fact a decision. It is something that we choose every day, and although it's very simple, the choice is not easy. It's not easy because some of it is counterintuitive. When you think of Gandhi, you think of fasting. What do most people do when they prepare for a struggle, for a fight? They feed themselves, they make their muscles strong. And this notion that something like fasting could be so compelling in changing minds and hearts, but also in addressing the might of governments and of weapons is sort of counterintuitive. The same can be said of his thoughts and words on forgiveness. He said, obviously, that forgiveness is an instrument of the strong, of the mighty. It takes tremendous courage to forgive, but it's a little bit counterintuitive because many people react to the idea of forgiveness as being weak in the face of alternatives like, sort of wielding power or lording over or being fixed and stern and uncompromising. So forgiveness is something just like nonviolence as a whole that is challenging and requires practice, but it is something that is also every day. And so one of the things that I want to emphasize is that we at the Matsunaga Institute for Peace, we try to emphasize that this is the time to rebrand peace as something action-oriented and takes place every day from wherever you are. How many of us, in the face of friends or colleagues or family members, have struggled to articulate your identity as a peace builder hearing instead some measure of scorn or, sort of patronizing words that indicate, oh, well, that's all very well and good, but it's fundamentally naive and it's not pragmatic. Given the world and its state today, it is extremely necessary that we think of ourselves as peace builders, that we see peace as really rigorous, as practical, and as something that we can teach. All of you have to be teachers. When I go into my Leadership for Social Change class, I ask them about their leadership. And my students almost universally say that they are not leaders. And this is frightening at times because we need them so desperately. But mostly, I feel like our work together yields encouraging proof of the fact that they are extraordinary leaders. Every day, it's about changing the script and shifting the way that they see things.